I could get used to this looking in the camera business, you know.
I'm already used to it.
You absolute waste, man. That was me trying to be wholesome. Oh,
Bruv, you set me up. That was perfect.
Why are you used to it, Mark? Tell us. Tell the people.
Unfortunately, that's G14 classified. I cannot reveal
come
such information at this moment in time. I am contractually obligated to not speak on this matter. So I'm going to have to answer with no comment and ask you to proceed
Why
on
are
to
you
the
moving
next
like
question.
an A-list celeb?
Like?
Why is everything I turn into Amber? Everything I say.
Do you know what? I'll tell you what's funny about that.
What?
I'll tell you what's funny about that. The other day, right? Bearing in mind, nothing's been released yet or anything, right? It's actually kind of embarrassing, but it was funny. But I was in the gym. I was with one of my clients. And this woman come up to me and she goes, "Oh, excuse me. Like I recognize you." And I didn't even let her finish talking. I was gassed. I was like, yo, nothing's even been released yet. I was like, yo, this TV shit is powerful. So on the inside, I was gassed up. I was like, yo, she's going to ask me for my picture, my autograph or something. I was like, yo, this is crazy. And she was like, oh, I recognize you from the website. You're one of the PTs here. I was like, yo, can you help me with this particular exercise? And then I was like, come back down to earth. I was like, oh, yeah, of course. Yeah, that's where you recognize me from. That makes more sense. And I looked at my client, and my client was smirking because he knew.
Because
he knew I kind of like went ahead.
Yeah,
he was like, I can see you getting gassed. I can see it in your face. So your eyes just lit up.
You're such a clown. You're letting that little bit of airtime get to your head like that.
Do you know what? It's not even that I was letting it get to my head. Like, in all honesty, I actually don't care. Like, it just is what it is. It was just an opportunity. It presented itself. I just went for it. Took it with both hands, had fun with it, like it was cool.
And see what will come of it.
But then at the same time, because of it, like in the run up to it and like just, behind the scenes and whatever, they do properly sit you down and be like, look, have you really thought about this?
Yeah.
Think about the consequences of doing this. It's going to be on TV forever. It's going to be on the internet. Everyone's going to see it, for life, blah, blah, blah. So it's like, yeah, cool. Like I'm not going on there to make a fool of myself. Like, it's fine. I've thought this through. But then at the same time, it's like, well, as much as there are drawbacks to going on a venture like this, there are going to be some positives. So, if someone come up to me and be like, want my picture? I'll be like, yo, that's kind of cool. I'll take it. Do you know what I mean? I'm not going to turn my nose at it.
To be fair, yeah, anyone would. If anyone said they wouldn't, they're lying. So
there you go.
Yeah, no, fair.
See? I'm just being my true, authentic self.
That's what life's about. If you ain't trying to be your authentic self, what are you actually doing?
There you go.
Well, you're not living, that's for sure. So the first episode, we didn't even cheers. How rude of us.
How rude of us indeed.
So to new ventures. And to us becoming money men.
I love that. Cheers.
There we go.
Cheers, everyone.
Cheers. Sweet nectar.
It's a refreshing drink.
Refreshing beverage. Indeed.
Aren't you glad I bought some drinks?
Yes and no. Yes and no.
Explain to the people at home as to why yes and no.
Well, so I'm on a bit of a health kick. I'm trying to get back into my training, take it real serious. And I was like to Mark yesterday, after he asked me, should I bring a couple of drinks? And I was like, nah, I'm trying to train. So let's leave it with the drinks. Plus, it's a Sunday. And he goes, I'm bringing some anyway. I'm like, okay, whatever. I get here. You know what? The sun's shining. I've gone for my morning run. Endorphins are in the system. I'm like, we could have one.
Remember, people.
So here we are.
Failing to plan is planning to fail. You must always be prepared, no matter what.
What exactly were you preparing for?
Bro, we're in central London. London never sleeps. What are you talking about? Oh, man, you got to be ready. You got to stay ready, man. I tell you this all the time. You don't listen.
I've been listening. Oh. I actually use that mantra with some of my clients.
100%, man.
No. You just got to stay ready.
Stay ready, man.
No, you don't get ready, you stay ready.
100%. But you know what? I think that we can transition off of that quite nicely, because I think in a lot of cases when people look at people involved in like fitness and health and whatever else. I think a lot of people, I'd say the vast majority of people look at us as robots in the sense of,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
we don't go out, we don't go have fun, we don't drink, we don't
get
do
that
this,
a
we
lot.
don't do that. But the truth is that we do. Now, granted, it's, you know, in moderation and maybe not to the same degree or frequency as, you know, the average person.
I'd say it's just I think it's just a frequency thing. I think from my experience, personal trainers are probably some of the hardest party animals out there.
Facts.
But when we go, like we go, there's no medium night out. There's no I'm just gonna have a couple of drinks and stay in. It's either we're not drinking and we're training, looking after ourselves, or we're getting mashed up. And like we're seeing what our body can handle. For real.
Go for a PB Saturday.
Yeah. Oh my. Like, no, we've been on enough trips, so we come back from it. Like,
Yeah,
like yo, it takes a week to recover
Trust
from them
me.
trips.
Body's hurting. Body's crying.
Body's screaming, averaging like 3-4 hours of sleep a night. Like drinking alcohol at breakfast, lunch, dinner.
Real, man. It's bad. I'm not condoning that type of behavior. I want to make that very clear.
But it's just to show that we are human as well.
Yeah, we are human. You know, we do like to have fun. We do like to blow off steam, and that is one of the ways that I like to blow off steam. I do like a big night out. Don't mind a drink or two.
Who doesn't like a bit of jaillet, man?
I mean,
Who
man,
doesn't
it's
like?
gotta be
Come
done.
on, man.
Come on, man.
A little bit of jaillet.
I mean, see the sun's out, summertime. These are the perfect vibes, man. These are the perfect vibes.
Exactly.
So it just is what it is. But yeah, I think you're right. It's a frequency thing as opposed to an intensity thing. We just don't do it as often, and we're a bit more selective about when and how we do it. And then outside of that, and as far as how we live our lives on like a day to day, you know, there's definitely a lot more consistency on like the health and fitness.
Yeah,
front.
that's the thing. We're way more consistent at doing the fitness stuff than the average person, and then we're just not as frequent as on the relaxation drinking front as the average person, and then that's how we're able to get that balance right. And I think because of the information that we know in terms of how to train, nutrition and whatnot, we kind of know what our limits are in the sense of how much we can get away with before it starts to become a problem for our physiques, affecting our training and things like that. So we just got it down to a fine art is what I'm trying to say, to be honest.
Yeah, it's like anything. It's practice. It's practice. It's repetition. Once you know and understand the limits that you can kind of like work within, you know how far you can push or, you know, not push until it starts kind of having a knock-on effect elsewhere. Like I wouldn't drink and party and whatever at the expense of not being able to train, not at the expense of not having energy to be able to, you know, do my 10, 12-hour shifts in the gym and you know, whatever
exactly.
it is. It can't come at the cost of that. I'd say that's another thing where people go wrong. The things that they do, it's actually, yeah, you're having your fun, but it's actually a detriment to yourself and what it is you have going on and what it is you want for yourself. And that's where you need to be able to kind of like identify that and then adjust accordingly. But then once you found that balance, like you're golden.
Well, I think this might even be a personality thing, but I think we're both quite good at compartmentalizing like certain aspects of our life. So like when we're working, we're working. When we're enjoying ourselves, we're enjoying ourselves. Or there's a time and place for one thing or the other, and then we don't let it overlap. But I think where I think a lot of people struggle in this day and age is that they're using like that relaxation, going out drinking, as a means to try and make it easier for them to deal with the work that they're doing. And then it becomes, I'm just having one drink after work. Then that becomes every day, and then you have a blowout on the weekend. Whereas actually we're properly involved in our work during the week, so we want to make sure, A, we can do our work, B, we can train, and then if we have the capacity or we have the time to go out on the weekend, then we'll probably plan for it. But we're not going to be just like, I need to do. Let's do something. It's just a bit more calculated. I think in that regards, where like we don't respond emotionally too much. Like yes, we might be stressed sometimes, but it doesn't mean that now we're going to plan to go out on the weekend. We just deal with that stress in other ways, which I think is a thing that I try to help with my clients a lot, is how they actually manage their stress. They use the wrong methods to manage their stress. I think we're taught in this country, especially this country loves to drink. Like the way to celebrate, drink. If you're sad, drink. Everything is leading to drink, but we know drink is a depressant. So if you're stressed and you're unhappy, why are you actively seeking a depressant? Make it make sense. But then we're conditioned to think, because you get that little high, which I only think actually it peaks about at drink 2, maybe 3, and then after that you're just chasing the dragon for the entirety of the night. So it's the wrong method to actually to be able to handle the stress that you have in your life. That's why being fitness professionals, I went for a run this morning. I just had to tell the people I went for a run this morning, innit?
Man, get on with it.
I'm a runner now, innit?
Wait, you class yourself as a runner now?
No, I'm not a runner. I'm not a runner. Let's get on serious for a little moment. I'm not a runner. I did one marathon. It was for charity. I didn't get the time I want. Now I can't not have done a marathon in a good time, so I'm still running, people. But it's only because my ego won't let me stop.
The male ego. Nothing ever good comes from it.
It's good and bad. Well, it's making me train. It's making me look after my heart and lungs. So you can't say it's a bad thing in this instance.
That's an interesting spin you. Don't believe that for a second.
No, don't say
Don't believe that for a second.
Don't say that.
Listen, don't let the charm fool you. This man is dangerous.
They don't need to know that just yet.
The thing, I'll tell you what's worse about that. He hides behind me. He'll push me to the front and be like, yeah, Mark's a dangerous one, man. I mean, he's the wrong one. Me, I'm good, clean, and wholesome. Lies, people. Lies. I'm telling you.
No.
Don't believe a word he says.
So keep a good image, innit? Keep a good image. Come on now. You only got one opportunity to make a good first impression.
That's it. And that's why he pushes me. Man, Mark really messed that up. I know not what to do.
Oh, Lord. Oh, that's funny. But we digress, to be fair.
Yeah, to kind of get back on track.
Yeah.
You know, if there's one thing that I've learned actually with this whole, not just my own like personal health and fitness journey, but like working with other people, I actually don't think there's anything wrong with having a vice, whatever that thing is, but you need to be in control of it.
Yeah, in control of it, yeah.
That's the key part. Like, if you like to have a drink or you like, whatever the thing is, there's nothing wrong with that thing in any given moment, but you need to be in control of it. Because, okay, look at like a holiday. Mm-hmm. Look at how you would eat, drink, behave, or whatever on holiday. That is not a reflection of your life and what you do on a regular day-to-day basis. Mm-hmm. So if you can see it to be okay to have that time to switch off on holiday or whatever, and you might, do a little bit of this and you party and you go here and you go there. If you can have it for, those 4 days or those 7 nights or whatever, and then it's back to normality and back to some sort of structure that you're following that is, again, in benefit to you, then there's nothing wrong with that. But it's being able to identify, and you kind of mentioned it, it's like, it's being in control of your emotions and understanding, like, okay, why am I turning to this? Why am I turning to it so frequently? Why am I turning to it with such intensity as well? By all means, have a drink when you come in from home. But if it's like, 4, 5, 6 nights a week, 2, 3, 4 glasses of wine every night, like, it's just a little bit too much. If you're turning to it because you can't get your emotions in check or get your life under control, then it's like, that's kind of dangerous territory. So take the time to kind of like stop and think before you pour yourself that drink or whatever the thing is, even like emotional eating as well. Just be willing to kind of stop for a second and be like, okay, do I actually want this? Do I actually need this? Like, do I need this or do I want this? Am I actually hungry for this? Am I actually craving this, or am I just bored, or am I just upset, or am I just stressed? Like, you need to be able to take that time to stop, reflect, and look at these things. And that's how you kind of, you establish that boundary that you can then work within. But until you take that moment to sit down and kind of try and establish those boundaries, or try and establish what it is you've got going on and what it is that needs changing, you'll just forever be lost, and you'll just be kind of like bouncing back and forth and like, oh, how do I do this? How do I get this under control? Oh, I just need this and I just need that. You've got to take that time to kind of take stock of what's going on.
The funny thing is with alcohol, because everyone looks to it to relieve their stress, But if you actually think about it, it does the exact opposite to what you intend it to do in the long term. So in the short term, you feel that bit of relief, and it's a nice feeling. You probably get a buzz for maybe like half an hour max. So that's what you actually crave. But in the long term, what you do is you damage that night's sleep, which means you wake up the next day for work not fully rested, which means you're going to go into work probably not in as good as a mood as you could have been. And then whatever happens at work is probably going to piss you off that much more. Then you come back home in an even worse position than you came the day before. And then what do? You pour some more drink. And then it's just a downward spiral. It just keeps on getting worse. And then you probably have a 2-day break on a weekend to reset yourself to just go and do that whole cycle Monday to Friday all over again. So when you always want to think of what is the long-term impact of whatever you're doing, and does it actually fall in line with what you're trying to achieve? If it's not, then you've got to reduce the frequency in which you're doing it. It's like with us and going out, the way that we go out, we know it's not healthy, we know it's not good for us, but we don't do it too frequently. That's our way of managing it. We know we love going out, but we know we can't afford to do it every weekend because we know the long-term impact. But we know if we leave it, like, probably have proper massive night out, we'll get proper mash up. What would you say the frequency is?
I don't know. It's tricky because it's a response to what's going on with work. More times, as much as people see me out and about and know what I'm like on a night out.
Yeah.
Okay, prior to me being away for the week, I've only been out like once or twice this year, like for a big night out like that. And one was your birthday.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
I'm struggling. I think there may have been one of them, but I actually don't think there was. I think it might have just been your birthday.
I think
and we're in May. Keep that in mind as well.
I've been on a few nights out, but nights out which have like properly I've like been hanging the next day, and it's been a struggle getting through the next day. I'd say 3, maybe 4 tops. I'm thinking, to be fair, I count skiing holiday.
Fair.
So like that took me a little bit of time to recover from. Then obviously my birthday. Then I had a night out with like Reese and Sam and whatnot. Not too recently. And then that messed me up. Yeah, that proper.
I'd probably say like on average, it's
Yeah,
probably like a big night.
Once every 6 for me, like probably once every 6
weeks or something. Yeah, thereabouts. I'd say I'd agree with that. Yeah, thereabouts. So when you actually think about it for a second, you go 6 weeks without really drinking, without doing anything like too crazy. That's a lot of time. Like, think about what can change in 6 weeks.
What you could do to your physique.
What can you do to your physique?
Yeah.
Your mental well-being.
Yeah.
Like, so many things can change, like quite drastically within a 6-week period. So to have one big blowout night in 6 weeks or every 6 weeks is actually not that big of a deal. But again, a lot of people take for granted, okay, you might not be having like a super intense night out, but it's a little bit of drinking here, and it's a little bit of this here, and it's just like, oh, I'll just nibble on that here. And it's the frequency. You're just doing it too much.
I mean, now you're grazing, and now it's becoming habitual. Now it's your identity, and then you're kind of confused as, oh, where have I gone wrong? I'm only doing a little bit, but it's the frequency.
You've not actually given your body enough of a chance to actually change and see the changes that you want. You need to be able to, get a little bit of flow, get a bit of momentum going for you to be able to see the changes that you want. And that's the thing, like 4 to 6 weeks. The best thing that you can do, and I say this to a lot of my clients that will, when they first start working with me, push it as hard as you can for like a good 4 to 6 weeks. Not to completely do like a 180 on your life, but just so that you can see what can actually change in a relatively short space of time. Just to change your mindset and change your perspective on this whole fitness thing. Because in as much as, yes, it does take time, and you need to be patient, you need to be consistent and whatever else, you can see a significant change in a relatively short space of time. So just really commit to it, just so you can see those changes, and then look to start implementing...
Tell him, brother. Tell him.
And then look to see how you can start implementing, the nights out, the social bits and pieces and whatever else. You know what I mean? Missing out on a few weekends, it's not the end of the world. And I think you need to keep that in perspective, especially when you're comparing it to what it is you want and where it is you're trying to get to. If you're currently sitting here thinking, do you know what? you know what I mean? I hate looking at myself in the mirror. I have zero confidence. I hate the way I look. I hate the way I feel. And all these things, these are quite strong negative feelings and emotions to have about yourself. You can't run away from yourself. And if you're honestly going to try and... No, it's true, you can't. Have you tried? Have you tried?
You go into depression, basically.
Right?
Yeah,
It's a really bad negative spiral.
If you try to run away from yourself, yeah.
And if you're honestly going to say, oh, do you know what? Skipping out on a couple nights out for the next few weekends, oh, I can't miss that. Even if it means by missing that, you're going to be fast tracking your process or your progress to feeling better about yourself, feeling comfortable in your own skin, feeling confident in yourself again. Like, to me, that's a no-brainer.
Do you know what? Just because alcohol isn't illegal doesn't mean it's not a dangerous drug. I always the way I look at alcohol, it's just a form of escapism. But it's just legalized escapism. Like these drugs which are banned substances do the exact same thing, but they probably have more harmful effect on the body. That's why they're banned substances. But in essence, people seek them to escape their reality. So the sheer fact that you need or are seeking alcohol should already be a bad sign that the life that you're living isn't a life that you're enjoying because you're seeking to escape from it. So even when you start to look at your habits or why you're drinking so much, it's also an opportunity to reflect on your life and how you're going about your day to day. Because so many people actually hate what they do Monday to Friday, and they see it as a trap. But is it really a trap? Are there things that you can change? What is it about your weekly routine you can start to change and start including things that you actually genuinely enjoy? Because then the minute you start enjoying your week a bit more, the less you're going to want and need and require the alcohol. So it takes me back to like, how I even got into personal training in the first place. I got to a point where I realized like how much I enjoyed training, how much I just like looking after myself from a physical point of view and like staying strong. So I thought to myself, how can I make this a lifestyle for me? Because I can't see myself not doing it, and working a 9 to 5 would kind of getting in the way. So I was thinking, maybe I should go into coaching. So I was actually working in a hospital. I think I was about 23 at the time. I was at the time thinking that I wanted to become a doctor. I was preparing for some graduate entry exams. And then in this year, I kind of realized, like this doctor thing, it's not what it's cracked up to be. I don't think I actually want to become a doctor. Even though I was like preparing for these exams, which are coming up towards the end of the year. And I'm thinking, do I even want to do these exams? And I'm like, deep down, I was like, no, I don't. So I thought to myself, what do I actually want to do with my life? And I was thinking, well, I like training, and that's something which will never go away, to the point where I was willing to train to a point that would interfere with how much energy I had for work. So I was clearly prioritizing the way that I was training and making sure that I wanted to train the way that I wanted. So I was like, okay, I definitely have to like turn this into a career. And not sure like how much detail. Fuck it, we'll go into a bit more detail. I was like, okay, I want to get into coaching. So whilst I was working this 9 to 5, I decided I was going to do a level 4 strength and conditioning / personal training qualification. Because obviously, if I was going to train people, I need to be qualified to do so.
Just real quick,
Yeah.
was there anybody that you knew who was already a PT or coaching, or was there any sort of like initial inspiration that kind of caused you to go down that road?
The only I think I've mentioned it to you. The only inspiration I had at that point of a successful personal trainer who looked like me in the space already was Simeon Panda.
Yeah, you haven't mentioned actually.
Yeah. So Simeon Panda was somebody I followed on social media. Followed him when I think I started following when he was posting videos on Facebook. Transitioned to Instagram, continued following him, and it was only like the link was he kind of resonated with me a lot purely because his brother went to the same primary school as me. So I felt like weirdly there was like that much more of a connection. So he's obviously come from a similar background, and then he's made a success in the PT space because, well, the family that I'm coming from, where I come from, I knew that if I turned to them at the time and said I wanted to become a PT, it would get ridiculed. I still think to some degree in today's society, I don't think the personal training profession is given that much respect. But at the time, I was like, that's the thing that I really want to do. That's what I'm actually genuinely passionate about. And I got to a point where, what's the point of doing things to make other people happy? Let me just actually put myself first and do things that are going to make myself happy. Because I know if I'm doing things which I'm enjoying, it's going to be easier to be consistent. And from that, it's easier to become good at it. And if you're good at something, people are going to want to ask you for help. And then essentially you can monetize what you're doing. And it feels a lot more natural because it's something that you enjoy doing in the first place. And where was I? Yeah, so Simeon Panel was one inspiration. And at the time I was playing rugby still. And for a local rugby team. And the physio at that rugby team, someone that we both know, Sam, and he was like now a mutual connection. So he was the physio. To backtrack with the story a little bit, there was another person that I joined the rugby club with, who I also worked with at the time, a guy called Stephen. He's then later on became the inspiration to why I fully took the leap into personal training. So at the time, Stephen was, he won't mind me saying this, he was hugely overweight. We're talking 180 odd kilos. Bear in mind, he was 6'4", but you can imagine he was a big guy, and he saw that I was always going to the gym. I was like kind of looking after my nutrition, and he kind of reached out and said, "Oh, I want to start training with you." And then through that kind of friendship, I effectively became his PT. Just before I got the qualification, I ended up actually using him as a case study for my qualification. And in that kind of year, I helped him, got the qualification, helped him lose, I think it was about 60 odd kilos. Sam, the physio, because obviously he was seeing me and Stephen coming into training together, clocked that we were friends, noticed that transformation, and he then reached out to me and said, "Oh, by the way, I'm working at this gym that we both used to work at."
They will not be named.
They shall not be named. God, good. They were a blessing and a curse at the same time. And Sam said, "Oh, by the way, my gym is looking for new trainers, and I think you'll definitely get the job. I've seen what you've done with Stephen." And at the time, I'd already had my qualification. I was thinking, "Oh, how do I get into the space?" And then when Sam threw that opportunity my way, I was like, "Yeah, this is it. Like, this is how I become a personal trainer." And yeah, I went down for an interview. They really liked me, and then that's when I then quit my day job, and then became a personal trainer. Actually, a month before COVID. But yeah, that's kind of a little summary of the transition I made from my kind of 9 to 5 at the time, and how I came into the PT in space. So,
how did you feel about making that jump, making that transition?
It was scary because I knew my parents weren't going to back it, and I was living with my parents, so I was going to be coming home every day, and they were basically not going to be proud of where I was coming home, like where I was coming home from. And but at the same time, I had this belief. I backed myself because I knew, like, with the amount, anything that I've done in the past where I've actually put my mind to it and I've been passionate about, I've tended to succeed at it. And because this is like helping people, I had the evidence through helping Stephen lose 60 kilos, and that felt really natural, and it actually felt quite easy. And I was like, well, I'm definitely made for this. I'm definitely, like, my personality is suited to being a personal trainer. It doesn't make sense for me to be doing any other profession. So I had so much belief going into it that I knew I wasn't going to fail. At the time, I actually thought it was impossible for me to fail. So with that kind of confidence in myself, it was easy for me to go into it and know that at some stage it was going to come good. My parents would have thought otherwise. They thought I was throwing away a stable income because obviously personal training, you're effectively starting your own business, you're self-employed. And there was no clear progression in terms of wage. It's when you're in business, it's all dependent on your input effectively. So trying to show your parents where you're going to be and how things are going to pan out for you is difficult because they just have to essentially back you and just let you do your thing. What's funny, it kind of came. I realized that I'd like done a good job when it was my client kind of like get together that I put together last, I think it was October, and my parents were able to visibly see the clients that I trained, that I brought together, and my dad did a speech. He tried his best to make me cry. He tried, but I clocked that my tear ducts don't work, so it's fine.
I'll keep it real out here. I ain't got tear ducts. What are you talking about?
I ain't got tear ducts. It was all right. The emotion was there, but nothing could come out. So I was like, that's blessed. I ain't going to make a fool of myself. But it was the first time I heard the words come out of his mouth of how proud he was of me on what I was doing. And that just kind of reaffirmed to me that the decision I made back then to do the personal training qualification, jump in 2 feet, even though my parents didn't back me, was the right decision. So, that was a proper nice feeling, and nice little milestone, and it just give me more fire to keep on kicking on. And then here we are making a podcast. The journey continues. The journey continues. What about yourself? What's your origin story? How do you get into PT?
See, this is... It's going to sound even worse now because you went first. Now you're going to hear my origin story. This is why I don't like hanging out with you sometimes.
What do you mean? I keep you wholesome and grounded, don't I?
Yeah, no, you are the wholesome one. This is when you realize people, oh, I get it now. I get why people had that perspective of Mark. See, that was such a wholesome, lovely background story. You want to hear my origin story? Bro, I just wanted to get girls. That was it. And as far as like my introduction to like training.
Wait, no, but like that's into training, but specifically into PT.
Oh, PTing. Okay. Okay, no, actually.
Yeah, because that's the same for me. Like the reason why I got into training was I wanted to get strong, be better at rugby, and get girls.
Fair.
So that no.
In that order? You mentioned girls last. I told you, he's dangerous. See that? He was trying to find the words, he couldn't find it. That's what I'm saying. He thinks he's slick. I'm onto him.
What are you trying to do? What are you trying to do? It's in the list, no?
Brother,
it's in the
I could
list.
already feel myself sinking. I'm bringing you down with me. That's it.
It's on the list. God damn it! Oh my word!
But so okay, I'll start with training and then I'll go into like. So for me, like with training, so I used to play football was more my sport back in the day, but I stopped playing football when I was really young. I stopped playing when I was like 12, maybe like 12, 13, like really, really young. Basically, I had problems with my knees. And what's annoying about that, and this was part of what fueled the desire to go down the whole coaching, PTing route. The issues that I had, have you heard of Osgood Schlatter's disease?
Oh, have you know? Yeah.
So I had that basically. And it sounds really fancy and it sounds like god awful. It's really not that deep. It's basically growing pains.
Yeah.
It's essentially like a overuse injury.
Uh-huh.
That's all it really is.
Yeah.
Right? All I had to do was strengthen up my hamstrings.
To fix it.
Fix it. That was literally all I had to do.
Mm-hmm.
I did not find out about that was the remedy to like my issues until my last year at uni. You imagine that? Now, keep in mind, the advice that was given to me at that age when I was like 12, 13 was to not do anything. Don't do PE, don't do football, don't do nothing. Now, you got to imagine like at that age, that's a big part of like my identity. Sports, especially football. Love my football.
For boys as well.
Yeah. Young boys like at that age.
Yeah.
So to sit me down and be like, right, you can't do anything for a year. I said, I beg your pardon? I was like, yeah, that's great advice. I walked out, I was like, I'm not listening to that. A couple of days later, I would have tried to like play football or whatever, but I couldn't. Like my knees would not allow. There were times where it was really bad. There were times, I remember one time, I think I had like a whole week off school. Yeah. I could not get out of bed to even like walk to the toilet. That's how bad like my knees, especially like it started off my right knee and then it went over to my left. But like I'd struggle to walk. It was that painful. It was that
like
bad.
an old man.
Proper. At 12, 13 years old, bruv. It's crazy. So then, obviously, when I kept like hitting these roadblocks, I was just like, I couldn't play football properly. I'd be on the pitch for like 10, 15 minutes, and like my knees would just, that's it, game over.
Yeah.
So I was like, well, this is just frustrating. This is just silly. So I had to listen because I didn't have the knowledge. I didn't have anybody around about me that could say, I actually know. Yes, you're young and yeah, you're growing rapidly, growth spurts, this and that, blah, blah, blah. But actually, if you just take the time, like I said, it's just an overuse injury. You imagine like jumping, sprinting, all these things. The quads are like working a lot, right? Same thing with like kicking the ball. Like it's very like quad dominant, like movement pattern sort of thing.
Yeah.
So my quads were just getting really, really big and strong, but a lot more significantly in comparison to like my hamstrings and my glutes.
Yeah.
That was essentially the fix. That's all I really had to do.
Balance.
It's just balance. That's it. That's all it was. It's just balancing out the musculature. That was all it was. So I'm going to, these doctors. What I should have done, again, wisdom, hindsight, what I should have done is I should have gone to some sort of sport-specific physio type individual because they just would have understood it better.
Yeah.
I was just going to like a GP.
Yeah. Oh.
I didn't know any better. My mum didn't know any better. It was just like, look, my son's knees are mash up. What's the solution? Sit down and do nothing. And that's the typical response. Like when you go to like a GP or whatever. And I'm not like knocking the NHS or anything like that, but it's just.
Well, surely they would refer you to a physio at that point.
It was one of those things like he knew enough to be able to be like, oh, it's probably Osgood-Schnetzer's disease. Here's what you need to do: just rest and sit and do nothing. That was just basically how the conversation went. And yeah, sitting around not really doing anything, it did help. My knees eventually kind of like stopped hurting because I'm not using it. Of course you'd experience that. But anyway, so, and then what essentially kind of happened from that point, I totally fell out of love with football.
Yeah, you would, didn't it?
Yeah, I totally fell out of love with football because...
Playing it or watching it?
Both.
Oh.
Both, yeah.
Damn.
There's actually... Oh, I'm really exposing myself here. There's actually a period... So I'm an Arsenal fan. There's a period...
Arsenal fan as well.
There's a period in, like...
Next season will be our season, I promise.
Oh, bruv. Please. I don't even want to talk about it right now. Oh, so mad.
The hurt, the trauma.
Oh, bruv, honestly. Arsenal will be the death of me, I swear. But there's a period in football, like specifically with Arsenal, where I am completely unaware of players that were in the team and just what was happening in that moment in time. I know for a fact we weren't winning shit. That much I do know, right? But there's actually a period where it's a bit like, he played for Arsenal? I didn't know that. But it's just those are the years where I just wasn't watching football. Because it was one of those things where I was watching football, but then I was watching football and I was getting kind of upset at the fact that I couldn't play.
Yeah.
And I couldn't properly be involved in it. Okay. So eventually I was just like, I actually can't watch this anymore. And so I just stayed away from it for like over a year. And then by the time my knees started feeling a bit better, I actually lost the will or the drive to like want to do it. And so, yeah, stopped playing football like 12, 13. And I pretty much haven't kicked a football. No, I tell a lie, I played a little bit of football at uni one time. I still got it. Don't get it twisted. I still got it, man. I'm nice. But yeah, no, I pretty much like haven't played.
People weren't questioning you, you know.
Listen, I'm just letting the people know. I know people on the internet are like, they're like, yeah, you ain't got it. Of course it's injured. At 12, 13, come off it, bruv. Come off it.
I would have been pro.
Listen, I taught Saka everything he knows, you know. That contract was for me. I said, nah, it's cool, Saka, you go. I'm chatting so much shit, man.
Yeah, you.
Hey, Saka, if you see this though, hey, you're my guy.
Starboy, we love you.
But yeah, so like sports and whatever else just kind of like fell out of love with it. But then as I started getting older, maybe it was about 15, 16, thereabouts, I was like, okay, I actually was aware enough to know that engaging in fitness and like you got to look after yourself sort of thing. And how am I going to look after myself?
Yeah.
And so I just started off real simple, just like push-ups. You know, like just push-ups in your bedroom. Classic staple. Young men.
That's how I started. It was like push-ups, sit-ups.
Push-ups, sit-ups, man.
Yeah.
That's all you need.
And tricep dips. That's all you need.
Yeah, that's kind of like how it started for me, and then it just kind of grew and it morphed, and like you'd see other people out and about, you'd be like, oh man, I want to be big like that. That'd be cool, man. Like, yeah, I can't wait to get old enough to start banging weights. I wish I started lifting weights earlier as well. I didn't start lifting weights until I say I started late, but I didn't really start late. But I was like 18.
Oh, okay. I think when I start, I started at 14.
Yeah. And listen,
Yeah.
don't let anyone fool you, right? For all you parents out there about, oh, it's going to stunt their growth and blah, blah, blah. Absolute nonsense. Absolute nonsense. Which is why I say I wish I'd started earlier.
It's worse for you not to get into the habit of lifting weights from a young age than it is to completely avoid it altogether.
It is so beneficial for them at that age. Not just from like a fitness sport perspective, but again, like developing good habits.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
Time management, structuring your day, like so many things fall off the back of investing in like your own fitness journey.
Like it's one of the, I'd say it is, well, for me, it's definitely the most important thing that I've done for my personal development is like consistently train and like look after my health and fitness. So yeah, you can't knock it. And especially when people get older and really struggling to make it part of their routine, but they realize now how much they need it. And I feel for those people. Well, obviously, it's a good thing that they made that realization and want to make it part of their routine. But the earlier you start, the better.
100%. 100%. Don't hesitate. Just go for it. If you're a bit skeptical, start off slow. You know what I mean? If you want to mess around with like the free weights or any like back squatting and overhead work, then okay, fine. But slowly just build. It's like anything. Just slowly build up into it. You'll be fine. But definitely have no real hesitation in, getting your son or daughter, even if they're a bit young, whether like 10, 12, 14, whatever. Go for it. It'll be the best thing they ever do. So yeah, I wish I'd started a little bit earlier. So part of the reason why I didn't start earlier is because I was worried about it was going to stunt my growth.
Yeah.
Now, I'm just going to be transparent here. I'm not at all. I'm not, you know what I mean? It's one of them ones, right? I was trying my hardest to make it to 6 foot, and the amount of people that were gassing me up, like, oh, but guys grow until they're like 20, 21. Don't worry, Mark. You're going to make it. I'm like, you sure? You swear? Don't lie to me. It never happened, people. Never happened. I'm 5'9", 5'10" on a good day. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, it just never happened. But that was the reason why I didn't start lifting weights earlier. And, you know what I mean? It was a silly reason not to do it. But that was, so that was like my transition. Started off with like push-ups in my bedroom. And then when I got to like college or whatever, we had a gym at our college and I started using, it wasn't anything crazy, but just like, it had a few little bits and bobs. But yeah, so I started around 18. And as far as like why I like really pushed to like work on my physique and whatever else, like we mentioned before, but I just get girls, man. That was it. My whole thinking was like, do you know what? I might not be 6 feet tall, but I can definitely get me some six-pack abs. So you know what? Yeah. Control the controllables. And that was very much like my mindset. Yeah. So that's like how I got started. That was like my initial thing to like get into fitness and to get into training.
Just imagine you in the mirror, just like,
yeah, man, getting my pump on, man. Yeah, man. 1.
Feeling yourself.
2. 98.
Yeah.
99.
Getting your Terry Crews on.
Yeah, man, proper. But that's how it's funny because I remember there was actually like a pivotal moment for me where it really sunk in that actually that mindset is actually quite shallow and actually isn't really going to do me much good going forward. And it was like my first like big holiday abroad. I went to Portugal. And this was the first time I'd ever done like a cut. So I was trying to like trim down, get the abs out. But actually, it's funny, I come across a picture at Portugal the other day, funnily enough, which made me laugh. But yeah, so it was the first time like I'd done a cut, got the abs out, blah, blah, blah. And I must admit, the way I went about doing it was terrible. Like I didn't eat like any carbs, basically. I was doing like loads of HIIT workouts because, that's what burns fat. Absolute nonsense. So there's loads of little things, but again, this was like my first introduction. I'm still learning. I'm still trying to like figure it out, and I'm just taking in all this content off social media and all the rest of it. So I'm just clueless. Not anymore. You know what I mean? Got the wisdom under my belt now. But back then, yeah, we're just kind of like trying to figure it out. But what was interesting is that I went through this process. And I'm like, yeah, I'm trying to build this muscle. I'm trying to get lean. You know what I mean? Try and get girls and blah, blah, blah. And in the run-up to going out to Portugal, and partially when I was out there.
How old were you when?
I was 19.
Cool.
I think I was 19. That was a good trip as well, actually. I made some nice friends out there. No, it was a good trip. It was a good trip. But the realization that I kind of had was, because in the run-up to it, it was torture. Like I was really like less than 1,000 calories a day type thing. Do you know what I mean? Like it was, I didn't know what I was doing, and I thought that was a good day.
You might have passed out.
Bro, I was eating bare rabbit food, chicken breast, no carbs, like all these HIIT workouts and foolish. Like I didn't know what I was doing, but it was working.
You would have felt terrible.
I felt awful. I felt dreadful. And this is the thing. It was like, hold on a minute. I'm killing myself. I'm bending over backwards to try and look good to impress a bunch of women that I don't know in the hopes that I can take them home with me on a night.
Yeah.
Do you know?
You start deep in it.
You start deep in it. It's just like, Mark, are you a mug? Like, what's wrong with you?
Yeah.
And it was it. Just at that moment, I was like, okay, that's actually, when you verbalize something like that out loud, you can't unhear that. That just sounds absolutely ridiculous. And it was at that moment, I was like, okay, this is just stupid. That can't be my sole purpose and reasoning for keeping myself in the gym.
Yeah.
And so I thought about it. I was like, well, okay, let's think about this. Okay, I do feel more confident myself because I'm working on my physique and whatever. Okay, cool, that's a bonus. Obviously, it's good for my health. Yeah, I like that. And actually, I took for granted like the mental impacts and benefits it has, in as far as just like managing my stress and you know what I mean, just that endorphin hit that you get from like training and stuff, like all these little bits and pieces. I was like, actually, no, that's the reason
why you stuck with it.
Why I stuck with that's the reason why I stuck with it, and that should be the reason why I want to do it. Sure, yes, if I can get more female attention along the way, cool, but that has to be the byproduct. That can't be the main outcome as to why I'm doing this thing.
Yeah.
And then once I kind of had that transition, I think if I didn't have that moment, I probably would have packed in the whole gym thing, if I'm being perfectly honest with you. But I hadn't had that conversation with myself and had that moment to kind of reflect.
ROI is not looking good here.
Yeah, for real. It just doesn't make sense. It's just like, wait, I've got to continue not eating carbs to keep these abs, to get these girls. And the thing is, it's just like, are abs really the reason you're getting females? It's not, really and truly.
To be fair, then you start deep in, it's not the actual physique, it's the person you become once you get the physique that actually attracts the women.
Yeah. Yeah, for real.
Bit of wisdom for you, man.
Bit of wisdom. You, man, you making notes? Better get that pen and paper out, you know?
Who are we actually talking to? Who's our audience when we talk to them like that?
I don't know, it's chopping and changing. It's chopping and changing. I had the girls on my side at 1 minute, and then they left the chat long time ago. They know what I'm about.
Oh, yeah, they're locked.
I thought he was a gentleman. I promise I am. I am. But yeah, like, and that's what kind of kept me in fitness. And then on that journey and on that process, I just really got into it. I just loved it. Got really passionate about it. You start going down the rabbit hole of not just like training, but like the nutrition side of things.
Yeah.
And, you know, you start expanding on your knowledge and all these other bits and pieces. And then it was at college. It was just like, okay, cool. What do I actually want to do with my life? Because growing up, like I watched my parents, you know, do jobs that they just didn't like. They come home every day, pissed off, stressed, annoyed. How's work? Long, this, that. I'm like, I am really not trying to be like that.
Yeah, I'm not trying to be like
That's long.
What?
And the thing is that was very much just like the norm. The vast majority of people that you would chat to, they'd be like, what do you do for work? Oh, I do this. And it's just like, is that really what you wanted to be when you were a kid? And 95% of the time, it's not.
Yeah.
And then when you hear them talk about it, there's no passion. There's nothing.
It means to an end.
It's just a means to an end. It's just like I'm just looking at like this empty vessel. Like you're just existing in your 9 to 5. And the idea of that, I was just like, I can't.
Sounds like hell.
It sounds like hell. I was like, I cannot jump on this bandwagon. I can't.
Yeah.
So I just thought about it. I was like, okay, cool. What can I do which I genuinely enjoy? You know, I'm passionate about. Obviously, you need to be able to pay your bills and whatever else, but I can really see myself doing long term. I'd gotten into, you know, fitness and whatever else, and it was PTing. So I was like, oh, okay, cool. I reckon that's what I'm going to do. Done sport and exercise science at uni.
So you had the idea of becoming a personal trainer before you even went uni?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But so the uni thing is interesting. So I didn't want to go uni.
Yeah, so why didn't you just go straight into personal training?
I wanted to, and I'm going to say this, and please, I don't want anything to get lost in translation here, but I was essentially pushed into uni by like my parents in it.
Yeah, I understand the pressure. Yeah,
it was one of them ones. Because the thing is, again, don't get it twisted, because my mum does see this. Mum, I love you, right? I love that woman to pieces, honestly. Every day's Mother's Day for that woman. I love her to pieces, right? But at that time, it was her thing. It was that classic, you need to go uni to get a good job and blah, 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 blah. And when she's coming to me talking about, well, Mark, if you're not going to go uni, what are you going to do? I didn't have a significant enough response to that question. I'm 18, 19 years old or whatever. Okay, well, I'd like to be a personal trainer. Well, if you go to uni, you've got a degree, it will make you a better personal trainer, blah, 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 blah. It didn't. I honestly, a lot of, bruh, waste of time, absolute waste of time. I have not used anything that I learned.
You didn't learn anything in a sport.
So utilize in a PT setting, absolutely not. And even in a sporting setting as well, not really.
What do you learn at uni?
This is what I'm saying to you. Nothing. You weren't listening? Hey man, your listening skills are off. Do I need to say it to the microphone louder? No, it's just nonsense. It's syllabus, tick box, blah, blah. It's that typical thing. Look at the things that they get taught in like schools. It's the same thing over and over again. It's just dated.
Yeah.
I'll tell you one thing that was taught, which I think ended up being like debunked or whatever. Do you remember functional movement screening? Do you remember that?
What that we got taught at the place that we used to work at? No. Or actually no. In general.
No. What they had the things there.
Yeah. No. Actually, no. I do. Yeah. I remember learning that as part of my course. Actually.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure it's been debunked now. Like it's not really like a big thing that's utilized.
Okay.
As much anymore. And it was funny because I came across that, I think, the same year I'd finished or like the year after. So I was like, oh, okay, cool. So it's actually a part of my degree, which is actually useless now.
Yeah.
And I've only just left uni. How helpful is that? Exactly. Hence, I learned nothing. But anyway, so I wanted to go down the PT route straight after college. And it was, I need this PT qualification to be able to be a PT. Even with my degree, I actually still can't legally work in a gym as a PT. It's all like insurance and whatever else. You need to have that PT qualification. Even though I'm way more qualified, because the PT qualification is only like a level 3. What's
you can have, there's different levels. You got level 1, level 2, level 3, level 4.
So yeah, you got level 2 like fitness instructor thingy. You got level 2, level 3 personal trainer.
Yeah, you're right.
And I think level 4 is like strength and conditioning.
Yeah, that's the one I ended up choosing to do.
But like your uni degree is what, level 6?
Well, I don't know where you'd put a biomedical science degree.
But like an undergraduate degree, I'm pretty sure level 6.
Equivalent of level 6.
I'm pretty sure, and then a master's is maybe like 7. And I think I could be wrong. But I'm pretty sure that's where it is. So I'm obviously like way qualified. I definitely can do it, but you still need to have that PT qualification. But yeah, I kind of got pushed into uni. I didn't really want to do it. I definitely didn't need it.
Yeah.
All I needed was that level 3. But I ended up doing my level 3, I think, whilst I was at uni, in like my 2nd or 3rd year. And then, done uni. And then, shortly after uni, gave myself a couple months off or whatever, just to kind of like chill, relax.
Yeah.
And then, ended up working down a thing where we met. They will not be named.
They will not be named. There's a
reason.
There's a very good reason.
We'll discuss that at another time and a later date.
In a future episodes,
we'll go into a bit more detail.
We'll divulge into our experience at the place we shall not name.
Not just our experiences, but just like how the industry kind of like works and just some of like the things that go on like behind the scenes and whatnot. But but the one thing that attracted me to this place when I applied was they were more so looking for people that had some kind of sport degree kind of background as opposed to just that level 3 PT, because technically speaking, we are like knowledge-wise, we are just a lot better equipped. So that was one thing that stood out, and I was like, oh, that's cool. Like, yeah, that makes more sense, because that was always like very much my thinking as well. Like, you're not going to let me work in your gym, but actually, I'm probably way more qualified than everybody in that gym as far as like knowledge goes. So that kind of like stood out to me. So I ended up applying, but it was one of those things like when you come out of uni and you're applying for jobs. Hey, look, beggars can't be choosers, innit? You're just applying here, there, and everywhere, and just hoping for something.
You're trying to get your foot in the door in an industry that you wanna work in, and then
that's it.
And then figure it out from there.
That's it. The step one is just get your foot in somewhere and just get the experience. And so it was one of those things. I ended up applying, and I was like, I'm not going to hear back from them. Heard back from them.
Because it was so far from where you live.
Yeah, trust. So it was so I live in London. This place is outside of London. So I reached out. They got back to me. It was like, yeah, come down. Blah, 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 blah. I was like, okay. Well, you know what? I'm just sitting around, just like bumming around. I ain't doing nothing. Do you know what I mean? I got no job. I got no money. Man, bruck. You know what I mean? I was post uni. I was like, okay, I'm gonna give myself a couple months off, right? But I was like, you know what? Being broke is boring and it ain't fun. So I need to get a job, start getting some money. So I head down there, done the thing, And yeah, went back home. I was like, yeah, cool. Da, 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 da. And maybe like a couple of days later, I get a phone call. And cut long story short, I was just like, oh, so if we was to offer you the job, what would you say? And I was like, oh, I don't believe it.
If we were, is that what they ask you?
Yeah. That was,
If we were to, what would you say?
yeah. I mean, he was being playful about it.
Yeah,
It was
you kind of knew that.
Yeah. Like it was cool. So because we were talking about it, it's like, yeah, how did you find it? This is that. But I was like, yeah, it was cool. This is that. I think I've done well. Da da da. And he was like, oh, okay, so if we were to offer you the job, what would you say? And I was like, oh, I guess I would say yes. Again, beggars can't be choosers. Like, I mean,
You didn't say that to them, though.
no, of course not. Of course not. But in the back of my mind, I was like, bro, I'm tired of being broke. I need money. So yeah, I agreed, and it was one of those things. I was like, well, looks like I've got to travel and commute to work now. I thought, you know what? I don't care. Small price to pay. So I started up November, December 2019. Because COVID was 2020, wasn't it? Like
Yeah,
March,
that's
whatever.
right. Yeah, because you've been there a few months ahead of me. Yeah.
Yeah. So I got down there, and yeah, I guess the rest is here. I'll save the rest of the story for when we talk about like our experiences and whatever. But that was how I became a PT. Essentially, it was working under that roof, and I've just it's gotten me to this point. I'm since obviously not working there anymore, doing my own thing now, and yeah,
That's it.
we're here.
And look,
Podcast now.
I think the people are up to speed.
I'd say so. Yeah.
We're at the same point where we both arrived at this establishment. We're working there, and then we'll come back. We'll revisit the story of what went down in this establishment. So the next segment is client question time. So essentially, we ask our clients what question they would like to ask us that they'd want answered, that other people might find helpful. The first question we're going for is, with all the information online, why is it so difficult to get a fitness result and know what to do? I'll repeat that. With all the information online, why is it so difficult to get a fitness result and know what to do? So I'll let you lead on this one.
Okay.
So why do you think we're in an era where we've got all the information that we'd probably want and need at our fingertips, yet people seem to still be clueless when it comes to getting in shape and actually knowing what to do? Like, why do you think that is?
Well, I mean, clearly it's not a lack of information. It's the lack of implementation.
Yep.
That's it. Like, in a nutshell. You've got all the information in front of you. You're just not doing it.
But knowing what to implement. How does the average person know what to implement?
I don't want this to sound too kind of flip when I say this, but we all pretty much know what we need to do.
You know what we need to
We know what we need to do.
You're just trying to find ways to not do it.
You're trying to find the
easier.
shortcut. You're trying to skip, steps 2 and 3 to get to steps 4, 5, and 6. That's the issue. Really and truly, you can get pretty far with 8 to 10K steps. Tracking what it is you're eating, making sure there's a high protein focus.
If you're trying to lose weight.
For a weight loss / fat loss goal, doing those things and going to the gym 2-3 times a week. Like, you can get pretty far with those few things.
Yeah, you just need to be consistent with it and actually not lie to yourself and log it properly, so you know you're actually doing what you say you're doing. And
because in my experience, when people say like, "Oh, I can't do this and this isn't changing," and it actually doesn't take that long for me to like ask 1 or 2 questions for them to start going, well, but yeah, I kind of sort of. What do you mean you kind of sort of went to the gym last week? Or you kind of sort. You're either doing it or you're not,
or you're out.
And that's
quite
it.
Binary.
It's very black and white
when it comes to fitness. And then you just gotta ask yourself, how come I'm not able to do the things I need to do? And those are the kind of questions you need to be asking yourself, as opposed to trying to gloss over and say, I think I'm doing it. But if you know you need to be hitting a certain amount of calories per day, and then you can't truthfully say to yourself you've hit those calories in those daily calories that week, you can't confidently say that you're on task, you're on job to getting towards your fat loss goals. So I think there's an accountability issue. I think for a lot of people.
Yeah, there's an accountability issue. I'd also say, like, just in reference to that question, I'd say a bigger issue that people have with like getting to their goals is not so much like with all the information.
Noise.
Yes, it's noise. It's not just noise, but there's also we kind of touched upon it before, that personal development and that personal reflection on yourself.
Yes.
Like, why aren't you doing the things that you know you should be doing? And in a lot of cases, it's linked to some sort of trauma or emotional.
Now we're getting a bit philosophical.
Yeah, but again, I'm just going off of like my experience
Yeah.
and like with what I've dealt with my clients over the years, because it's just like, I've given you everything you need. I've not really said anything which is like, wow, I didn't know I needed to do that and eat more, broccoli and have more chicken. Do you know what I mean? This isn't groundbreaking stuff, but there's a reason you're not implementing the things that you need to be implementing.
Yeah, that's the real question.
And I'd say that is a big part of why you're not seeing the results. Why are you not, like tracking those calories or hitting that protein target? Why are you not training with a bit more purpose and intent and intensity in the gym? Like, what is the reason? Why? If you can identify that, and the tricky part about that is you have to look into yourself and you have to face certain things about yourself, which might not be the greatest of things, but you have to face it. And the longer you spend and ahhing about facing those things that you really don't want to face, the longer it's going to take for you to see those changes and results that you want to see.
Yeah, and to be fair, as a result, I feel like sometimes I feel like a therapist, like being a personal trainer.
Sometimes,
there's certain clients where you feel like that PT session is you're there to actually therapize them, so that they can actually go on to be successful within their week, so they can do the things they know they need to be doing. And like the more time I spend in the industry, the more time the more and more I realize it's a mindset issue, which is actually stopping people from getting to where they want to be. And that's with everything. It doesn't necessarily just have to be with fitness. So like not backing yourself. So if you don't have a confidence in yourself, then the likelihood of you seeing something through doesn't actually, reduces. But if you're really confident in yourself and you've had evidence in the past of achieving things, and if you follow a plan that you're going to get there, you're more than happy to stick to something. No matter what obstacles come your way, you're going to still stay with it, and then you get to your goal. But that's something that's a personal development that you've had to go through in order to develop that mindset for that to become easy. So many people, they come to me, they look at me like, how can I get to look like you and things like that? And I've been training for 15 years consistently. Like, this is 15 years worth of consistency. And and what people don't even realize is if you go 2 months on, 5 months off, 2 months on, you could have trained a significant amount of time in your lifetime, but because you haven't been consistent with it, you almost might as well have not started. So people don't understand the importance of being consistent, and like with a lot of things, it's that compounding interest. So 15 years of consistency is huge.
yeah.
So, and what people don't realize is that the first few months, that first year, it's all obviously going to be the hardest part of it, because that's where you're going to see the slowest progress. But that's the bit where it's more important for you to stick at it. And you have to have a certain kind of mindset, I believe, to be able to do that. And so that's why I feel like a lot of people struggle with. So when it comes to why people, despite all the information, aren't able to get to their results, is that if you don't have that mindset, it's very easy to get swayed by the noise that's out there, like these fads or some infomercial out there trying to sell you something that's going to, or just have this pill and you'll like get 6-pack abs in no time. It's very easy because you haven't trained yourself to have that mindset to stick with something which can be seen as challenging, and then it's very easy for you to look for the cop out, the easy route. You kind of in your heart of hearts know it's probably not the right thing to do, or you just live in the hope that it's going to get you to your goal, and then you realize it doesn't, and then you're back to square one, and then it's just a cycle that keeps on repeating with the next fad that comes up, the next person who's trying to sell you something. When in all honesty, you probably do know it's go to the gym, lift heavy weights 2 to 3 times a week, get enough protein, control your calories, and move often. Drink your water, sleep. That's it. That's it. That's lit. In a nutshell.
That's it.
That's probably everything you need to focus on to have a good physique. And you know it, but you're like, oh, can't be asked to go to. Like, do I have to lift heavy? Like, how long do I need to do it for? Oh.
That's it. It just goes back to that mindset.
Yeah, and
you can't keep looking for the shortcut. Again, that's where people get swayed. It's like, I can't be bothered to do that. I want it quicker. I want it easier. I want it now. It's that instant gratification.
I want it quicker, easier. I want it now.
And it's just like you can't do that. That can't be your mentality towards it. That can't be the approach. And it's that mentality which is what is keeping you stuck. You know, you're trying to look for the quick fix. You know, I want you to consider something for a second. You've probably been engaging with terrible habits for the past 5, 10, 15 plus years. And you're trying to just overnight go back on those habits that you've been engaging with for however many years to then jump on this fad or jump on this bandwagon for like, I don't know, 6 weeks or whatever, and just have that all eradicated and to have the knowledge, the tools, the skill set to be able to, you know, get those 6-pack abs and then be able to maintain it for the rest of your life. Even if you could do a 180 that quickly in 6 weeks and have like crystal clear 6-pack abs, you actually haven't got the experience, the tools, the knowledge or whatever to actually be able to sustain it.
You don't have the habits in place yet.
That's it. Even if I gifted you right now, if I waved my magic wand and I gifted you with the body of your dreams.
You wouldn't know how to keep it.
You wouldn't know how to keep it. You'd lose it in 6 weeks. You
Fact,
would.
Yeah, that's facts.
It's true.
That's facts.
It's true. And so there's a certain level of like honesty and I guess to a certain extent maybe like humility that you have to have with yourself to be like, okay, cool, look. Let me not rush this process. Let me not like jump on the next bandwagon. Let me just stop for a second. Okay. I could probably do 8 to 10K steps a day. I could probably do that. I might have to like chop and change this, but I could do that. It's pretty manageable. Track my calories. Oh, that's a little bit. But you know what? Okay, you know what? It really helped me to, you know, get the ball rolling a little bit. But it's one of those things. Once you do it and once you have a better understanding of food and how it works and its caloric value and protein values and this and that, it's like, oh, okay. Once you build up a baseline knowledge of nutrition, you won't have to be so like focused and like stringent with the calorie tracking. Like be honest, do you track your calories like right now at this moment in time?
Like I only track my calories if I'm working towards a specific goal.
Right, exactly. I'm very much the same. If there's something that's like drastically training with my training or like with my goals or whatever else,
I've
I'll
got
be
a
like,
competition coming up. I might start tracking my calories.
That's it.
I'm tracking them now because I'm on a bit of a bulk, so I need to make sure that I'm getting enough calories in, and protein in.
But then once you've got that ball rolling, and again, I'm speaking to somebody who's experienced here. But once you've got the ball rolling, you don't have to be as, I need to make sure I track this.
If you're asking me, what would you do to just like stay in shape? It's like, well, I know just my habits are enough to. I'll be in a ballpark for the amount of calories I need to be consuming. I'll be in a ballpark for the protein. I'm training anyway because I want to train. Like my habits will actually keep me in shape, so I don't even need to really think about it. But it's the fact that I've spent so much time learning about my fitness and nutrition and plus developing the habits that my baseline will just keep me in shape. It's funny because the amount of times I talk to people and they say, oh, wait till you get to my age, like 40, 50, you're going to be out of shape. I'm like, I'm telling you, my habits won't let me. Yeah. My habits genuinely won't let me get out of shape. If I'm always on my feet active, if I'm going to the gym at least 2 to 3 times a week, if I keep my protein high and I'm getting my fruits and veg and I'm only like drinking like big every 6 weeks, tell me how with that kind of lifestyle I'm going to get out of shape.
Yeah, I'm just going to miraculously birth a dad bod. Like it just doesn't work like that.
And so I'll wait till you get children. It's like, I'm still going to go to the gym. I'm going to still eat right. Maybe I'll have less sleep.
Less time. You got to be tactical about when you do it.
So I just got to get smarter with my time.
That's
but the fundamental habits will still be there.
100%.
I'm not going to just get out of shape. So It just goes to show like the importance of developing habits, and that takes time. Can't be an overnight thing. And developing the mindset which will allow you to keep, because ultimately the physique that you want, you need to become, in essence, a different person, a better version of yourself mentally before you can have that physique and then be able to maintain that physique.
Yeah.
So in large part, there has to be a level of personal development that needs to happen for you to get to your goal, and then keep it, which is, I don't think it's actually spoken about at all. I think fitness is always sold as this, just do this and that, and then but actually fitness for a lifestyle change, to make it sustainable, it goes a lot deeper than that.
Yeah, it's definitely an evolution that you kind of have to go through. Like you say, in your mind, you have to picture and become that person that you're trying to be.
Yeah.
You have to emulate the person that you're trying to be. Now, I can appreciate at this moment in time, it's quite difficult, but you have to, when you think about it, when you speak about it, you have to speak as if you are already that person.
But the question that I always get clients to ask themselves is, what habits do you think the person with the physique that you want to have has, like on a weekly, daily basis? What do you think they're doing with their week? And then compare that to what you're currently doing, and what do you think you'll need to change?
That's good. I like
And
that.
then that way they look at it they're like, yeah, I'm way off. yeah.
We got to go back to the drawing board on that one.
And then they'll start thinking, oh yeah, I should probably not drink during the week. Okay, yeah, that's a good start. Yeah, probably take out those pastries, donuts, like stop snacking. And the thing, do you know what's so funny? They give themselves the answers.
Yeah.
I'm not even coaching them anymore.
Yeah.
They're just telling themselves what they know they should be doing in the first place.
But it goes back to what we're saying.
Yeah.
It's not rocket science.
Yeah.
Like we all know what we should and shouldn't be doing. The skill set, I'd say, of like a good coach is being able to sit somebody down,
get them to do
and
the
get
things.
them to do the things, get them to reflect, and get them to really understand, as well as obviously like supporting them
and coach them through the movement.
coaching
Obviously,
them.
that's a given. Yeah.
Yeah, but that's really where an impactful coach.
And that's why we say we're in the business of behavior change.
Yeah.
That's actually our core business. How do we get people to the end goal? We're changing we're in behavior change, and that means we're actually seeing how we can impact them on a psychological level. Is way beyond the physical of like how many reps and sets and the weight it's a prerequisite. Like that's got to be done for you to be able to get stronger, build muscle. But in order to get to your goal and maintain it, it's all psychological.
Yeah.
And then that's where a good coach really comes in to help you, support you get to that journey.
Yeah, they'll give you a bit more clarity.
Yeah.
In not just like your own mindset, but just like the journey as a whole.
Yeah.
Where it is you're looking to go down. Because you have to think about it like this: the body will go wherever the mind tells it to.
Yeah.
And if you've not got this crystal clear and what it is you should be doing and where you should be going, you'll just be wandering around. And it's just like, yeah, I'll do a little bit of gym here. Oh yeah, just one more donut or whatever it is. Right? You have to get that mindset right first and foremost. 100%. And you know what? I will say this: there is nothing wrong if at this moment in time you are not ready to embark on that journey. I think that's one thing that doesn't get spoken about a lot either. I don't think there's anything inherently wrong if you don't feel like you're ready. If you do need to take a moment to kind of like, okay, cool. What do I need to change? What do I need to have in place? And there's nothing wrong with that. But trying to like force the issue and trying to like cut corners that's never going to end well, and you're just never going to get to your destination, right? Really take the time to reflect on yourself. Really take the time to understand yourself and understand where like the pitfalls are in your environment or in your journey, or the things like the drawbacks in your life at the moment, the things that really need the things that are really holding you back, basically, whether it's, your eating habits or, how you manage your stress on a day-to-day and the vices and things that you turn to, things like that. Really take stock of those things. And then once you have a better idea, I promise you, once you do get to a point where you feel like, okay, you know what, I'm willing to give this a bit more of a try, whether it's by yourself or you're going to work with a coach or whatever, I promise you, you will have a much smoother journey. 100%.
Yeah, to touch on that, I think when you're embarking on a personal training journey, you've got to appreciate and understand that a mental shift is gonna have to occur. We're not just prescribing sets and reps because you could just get that off a program. If you're actually enlisting our help, we're going to be trying to change your habits, your lifestyle, your mentality. And that means challenging some beliefs that you probably have, which aren't good ones, which are stopping you from being consistent with the things you know you need to be consistent. So you have to be open with the fact that we're going to come and challenge that, and be open and ready for your mindset to mold and shift to allow you to become the person you ultimately want to be to get to the results that you want. And it's very frustrating when you have a PT journey or you're trying to help someone and there's just so much resistance in, like, we know from experience that a certain type of mindset is going to stop you from getting to your goal. Then when we challenge it and it's like, and then I think this is the biggest problem actually a lot of people have. People aren't willing to compromise or to make some level of sacrifice. They almost want to live the current life they're living but have the body that they want.
Yeah.
But they can't coexist.
Yeah.
It's just impossible.
I think that's where social media has kind of pushed that kind of like,
Yeah.
you can carry on doing whatever you want and still get the body.
It's a lie.
It's lies. It's nonsense.
It's a lie.
It's nonsense.
Yeah, you can have a slice of pizza a week. And that's how a lot of marketing is like, yeah, you can still eat the food that you want, but ultimately you're going to have to learn how to manage the quantity of that food and the underlying habits as to why you're seeking that food. You need to change as well. They just use that as a little bit of bait to like get you through the door. But you are going to have to change. You are going to have to reduce the amount of fast food that you're eating. You are going to have to increase the amount of fruit, fiber that you're going to have in your diet. You are going to have to go to the gym more. Someone telling you that you don't need to do these things is just some fake marketing to just get you to put money into their pockets.
So it's lies. It's nonsense.
Well, some people, I feel like what this podcast will be is giving people something like the hard truth. Like getting into shape isn't easy. If it was, everyone would be in shape. There's a reason why,
And we'd be out of business.
Yeah, yeah, it's true.
And that's the one thing. Sorry to cut you. That's the one thing that I will say to kind of help give people that perspective. When you are looking for all that free information online, if it was really that useful, there'd be no purpose for somebody like myself. I would not exist. So you have to think about these things. If these things were, if it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. Right? You have to understand, if it really was that simple, if it really was that easy, if you could just go on the internet and get this program and get this diet plan and blah, 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 we wouldn't exist. The fact that we exist should be that big sign to know and understand, okay, maybe going down this route of constantly following this influencer and this free program and this, that, and blah, 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 maybe it's not in my best interest to go down that route. Maybe I have to invest a little bit more into myself to be able to get a bigger return, or ultimately the return that I'm looking for.
Yeah, 100%. I think, that touches like nicely onto like the next kind of part where speak about what do we think how much influence has influencers in the personal training space had, and whether we think it's actually been beneficial, it's been good, or if it's been detrimental to the wider society. I'll throw that question your way.
Okay. It's like anything, positives and negatives. I think there's big money in fitness. There's a lot of money in the fitness.
It's a growing industry.
Yeah.
People the average BMI of definitely in the Western world is creeping up. So people are becoming more and more out of shape. So naturally, the fitness industry is only going to grow in demand. So
yeah, and like anything, when there's big money involved, there's a bigger incentive to push, whether it's certain narratives, certain products, whatever it might be. And that's where the big negative has kind of like come into play. Because like with a lot of these influencers, it's not a matter of necessarily pushing the messages or the things towards you, the consumer, and as far as like the things that you need, the things that you actually need that will actually get you the result that you want. It's more pushing forward the message that you want to hear, that makes you feel comfortable and that makes you want to essentially buy. you feel a lot more comfortable and you are more likely to buy into something that isn't really going to challenge you, that isn't really going to give you that pushback. If I said to you, yeah, you could sit on your ass all day, eat whatever you want, drink whatever you want, gym, forget the gym. You don't need that. Just, yeah, I mean, do them little booty band workouts
Actually,
and whatever.
first of all, you probably wouldn't pay. You wouldn't pay for that service.
Well,
Like, but you kind of almost want to hear it at the same time. Make that make sense.
so this is it. And that's where like the big downfall is. And now it's just a matter of just trying to be like the biggest, loudest person in the room just to kind of like capture your attention, but not really trying to give you real value that you actually need that will be of benefit to you. It's like the whole like what's my man with his morning routine and whatever.
Ashton Hall.
Yeah, idiot.
You know about Ashton Hall. You've definitely seen Ashton Hall come up on your feed at some point. So the brother who wakes up at like 2:48 in the morning to like dunk his
face in flipping ice water
and do a couple little two 4 press ups out on his balcony. What's the brand of the waters? Like Sarah something or
whatever it is, man. The thing is, I see his face pop up. I'm just like, people, if you believe this man is getting up at 2-3 o'clock in the morning to dunk his face in water, God help you. Like, I promise you, this man ain't doing that. And even that as like a perception, a lot of people think that's the length you have to go to just to lose a little bit of body fat. It really isn't. You really don't have to overcomplicate it.
People actually believe that whole morning routine thing is what he actually does. Like, yeah, like God help you.
There's a bigger problem. If you're believing that's his actual routine, there's actually a much bigger problem that we need to be dealing with.
The other thing is that, do you think he's natural?
Do you know what? Honestly, I don't care.
Yeah, but I think, it's
if I had to guess, I'd say no, especially with like his background as well, because he's I'm pretty sure
he tried to make an NFL. Yeah. He was a college baller. So like, yeah, he would have had like some decent training behind him. But again, with like on the topic of influencers, this is the problem with that industry, is that a lot of influencers have taken steroids, have taken performance enhancing drugs, obviously to stand out on social media so that they can then sell their programs and basically make a living. And that's a problem because they are more often than not the most knowledgeable people to go to when it comes to getting fitness advice. There's a lot of influencers who, they train themselves, they've got a decent body, but actually don't have any experience coaching people, yet they're creating plans and things like that, and having never actually given that plan or implement that plan with an actual real life person. So they shouldn't actually be the people you should be going to for that kind of advice. But because they're the most prominent, you're going to end up like going to them if you need help. It's like, there's this person I've been following for 3 years. He seems in decent shape. I like him. I followed his content. Let me buy something off of him. And then ultimately, you don't actually get the help that you need to get to your goal. So
it's a completely different business model. It's a completely different approach. Their sole focus is
numbers.
It's just a numbers game. I'm trying to influence as many people as possible. What is going to help me stand out?
Buy this little PDF, might be like £5, but if I get 1,000 people per month,
that's it.
On this £5 PDF, it's 5 bags.
That's it. Easy.
It's easy money. That's easy good money.
That's it.
Off one PDF that you made one time.
I'll do it.
And you just need to.
No, but again, I understand the appeal for it. But
Yeah.
for me personally, I'm genuinely passionate and invested in watching somebody go through that process of, okay, I'm starting out. Yeah, I might not be in the greatest shape, not really feeling myself, blah, blah, blah. But I really appreciate being able to help somebody go through that journey of like, starting to feel more confident, carry themselves, with more confidence, more purpose, got a bit more pep in their step and whatever else. Like, I love that process, which is why I've gone down this road, and I want to be able to work with as many people to be able to, experience that.
And naturally with that, we can't work with 1,000 people at the same time. So our business model is completely different in the sense that we want to work with a select few people who are ready to work with us, keen to get the results that they want. So then we can actually properly be on the journey with them to help them get there. That's where I definitely can speak for myself. That's where I get my fulfillment from, is seeing you where you come to me at the beginning, and then helping you get to that end goal that you probably didn't even believe in yourself. And through that process, you slowly start to gain more confidence, more self-belief. You became more consistent. You started seeing like the fruits of your labor, and witnessing that is ultimately like why I want to be in my why I want to stick around in my job. And well, we brought out this podcast to help, just basically to help us reach more people who would be interested in that, and so we can connect. You can get to know us a little bit more, like our personalities, see if we'd actually be a good fit, because like we can't help everyone, let's be honest. So and then I always kind of had this thing with influencers where like, I wish I could market as well as influencers, but then I realized what they actually do in order to market themselves.
Yeah.
And they're content creators.
Essentially,
That's their job.
That's their whole thing.
Like that's their whole thing. They're content creators. They're not coaches. They're not, but people are more willing to get plans from them just because their way of marketing is just so much better.
But that's not really the thing that I'm passionate about. I don't know about yourself, but that's not really what I'm passionate about. That's not really where my focus is, in as far as just like the whole marketing, content creation side of things. Like I do it, but not to the degree and not to the way they kind of like do
it's
it.
like that's not where I'm earning my money.
Or finding fulfillment.
Or finding fulfillment.
Yeah.
I mean, well, even like this podcast, this was like we clocked that this was the only way we can, with the minimal amount of resistance, create some content which we could put out on a regular basis to be able to reach our potential clients. So even like, I don't think there's any kind of other medium I can see myself being really consistent with, to be honest.
Yeah, no, not really.
Because like we're just chatting like how we normally chat, and we know that there'll be some golden nuggets in there.
Yeah, no, 100%. I was just gonna say because we've been doing this for like this session for a little while now. This is very much like what it is. This is like how we would talk like behind the scenes. Like it's not all jokes and banter and foolishness. I promise you. We actually do have like some deep, thought-provoking kind of conversations. But these will be some of the things that we'll kind of talk about from time to time. Because ultimately, this is the industry that we're in. So we need to be clued up and aware of like what's going on, what's trending, and this and that.
Yeah.
And we take time to reflect, because it's not just talking about it for the sake of talking about it. I don't know if you've experienced this, but there's times where something will go viral, something will be trending, and then my clients are coming to me about it, and you can see where they're starting to get like swayed.
Yeah.
Has that ever happened to you before?
Yeah, like a good example is the whole premise of it. You get this like glucose monitoring thing that you put on your arm, and then lots of my clients start getting really obsessed about measuring their glucose, and like, oh, my glucose spiked after breakfast. Yeah, because you had food.
Yeah, it's a normal response.
But then they're starting thinking about insulin sensitivity and all. But these are some of these clients are like actually healthy individuals that don't actually have a problem. They don't have like high sugar or anything. But now they become really obsessive about it. Oh, I need to test like what foods I should be having, like, and they're really panic. I'm like, no, you're missing a picture. Like, and then I'll be trying to give them some like general advice to make sure that you should be doing this with your nutrition. And then they're coming back to me with, oh, but I listened to this podcast. So they're getting information from outside sources, and then I'm having to spend time to basically refute some of the information. Some of it comes from truth, but they're kind of exaggerating a certain point in order to sell a product, essentially. And then some of my clients are then falling for that trap. But the basics of calorie control, high protein, high fiber, fruit, minerals, activity, it still stands. No matter what fad, what anything comes into the marketplace, if you do those things, you will be fine.
Yeah, 100%.
You will be fine.
It stood the test of time, like these things that we're talking about, like the steps, the food, the training, whatever. So don't stray too far away from that, and you'll be fine. And the one thing that I will say with like a lot of these programs or products and bits and bobs, right? The one thing that will always be missing in comparison to like working with a coach is context. Meaning, it's all well and good you can say this product or this thing does this and does that, and this means this and this means that. The one thing that a coach can do Because if you're working with a coach on a one-to-one basis, they are going to understand you as an individual a lot better than any of these companies and products and whatever else. So we can give you more of the practical application behind these things and whether they are in your benefit to use them or not, or whether somebody just kind of like sold you a bit of a dream, or they just kind of sold you on a bit of a half truth, but actually it doesn't actually serve you that much purpose.
Yeah, yeah.
Right? That's the
Right.
key thing. And if you want to talk about really trying to get a result, the thing that you need is context. I could preach to you about my program is the best and this and that and blah, blah, blah. But if I haven't sat you down and said, well, okay, cool. Do you actually have the time, the tools, the capacity to be able to implement this product or this program or whatever? And you say no. And I go, well, you need to figure it out. Like, that's not really a response. That's not really an answer. I need to be able to figure out how I can tweak my approach so that you can actually implement it. The best plan that you can follow is the one that you can stick to long term.
Stay consistent with, yeah.
So if I'm giving you something that, let's just say you're a busy working professional, family man, I mean, whatever it is, I need to be able to take that into consideration. And if I can't, well, I can't really help you. And then by extension, you can't really help yourself. So that's the big thing that's always missing with like a lot of these trendy, fatty things. It doesn't actually give the context of what it is you have going on in your life.
Ultimately, they just want to help themselves.
That's it.
And they do it under this guise of, oh no, we've sussed what's wrong with like our human bodies, and this is what you need to tweak, and this will solve like all of your problems. I think that it goes off the back of probably wrap up in like 5 minutes. Like sugar has been demonized so badly in recent years, to the point where people are scared to have it, whether it's naturally occurring, if it's in processed foods. Like as a personal trainer, do you actively avoid sugar?
Absolutely not.
I'll say the same. I have sugar in all my coffee and tea.
I love sugar.
I actually really like sugar. I've got a massive sweet tooth. Sometimes I'll just have a bag of sweets. That's pure sugar. But the funny thing is, now that I've told you, that you probably wouldn't have expected that from me. Being a personal trainer, you think I'd avoided these things. This then goes to show you like what people are doing in the social media space to give that misinformation about certain things. So then you feel a certain type of way. So then they can then sell products off the back of it. So you got to be careful who you're listening to when you're out in the internet. But Jesus, what that space it's not. And the thing is, that's another thing which I've struggled with is I feel with the level of knowledge that we have and experience and whatnot, and that we can kind of filter through the nonsense quite easily when we're on the internet, we're on social media. How does the average person know, apart from signing up to our program, know what is bullshit and what is not?
So here's what I would say to that. There's a level of discipline that you have to have, because chances are, if you follow one influencer, you probably follow about 15.
Yeah.
Which means you're listening to 15 different voices or 15 different perspectives, which, okay, if I said to you right now, Audace, what should we order? And I listed you 15 different restaurants. Exactly.
Yo.
Right? It's the paradox of choice. When you're inundated with choice, when you've got like unlimited choice, there's almost like no choice to make because there's so much. You can't narrow it down. But if I said to you, do you want this or do you want that?
You'd be like, okay, cool.
You'd be like, okay, cool. These are my options. I'm feeling this one. And you just go with either A or you go with B. So I would start with maybe just having like 2 or 3 voices that you actually genuinely follow and listen to. And then with that, implement some of the things that they say. So it goes back to that implementation, right? Implement 1 or 2 of the things that they're saying and see how much of a return that you get, right? If it's kind of working, continue. If it's not working, get rid of them.
Yeah.
Maybe bring in another voice or whatever.
Or even just do your research even, and then don't take whatever somebody says on the internet for it to be gospel and for it to be the truth and the way that you should be doing everything. If you go about, do your research, pros and cons, always with a lot of things, especially with anything that you're ingesting, putting into your body, I need to see some evidence from some kind of scientific article as to whether this is actually going to work. What are the pros and cons of doing it before I even think about taking it? So that goes with like what supplements that I've ever taken. I always understand like the benefits, the pros and cons of it. I'm not just going to take it because some guy who I really look up to is taking it. I'm like, okay, cool. Let me see why he's taking it. Like, it's that extra level of like due diligence that you need to do to make sure that you're not making silly decisions just based off of somebody who you just like and follow. And then ultimately, if you start doing that, I think you'll start culling that list of influencers that you actually follow, and you realize this influencer is just all in it for themselves. They don't really help it. They're not really helping. Like, the information they're giving is actually kind of nonsense. So you just delete that. Then hopefully over time, the information that you're receiving is actually kind of useful information. I like to think that my feed gives me lots of good info, like even some of the, definitely a lot of the kind of more researchy type people. So like your Lane Nortons and co. So I'm getting good information. I know that I can trust, but that's because I've gone in and I like them, but then I've done the research and I know how like they go about doing things. So I have trust in their process. It's not because he looks a certain way, I'm going to suddenly believe everything that he says. Because somebody could look 10 times better and actually have no clue. But more time, these are the people who get more reach and are able to influence your decisions in the way you think. So you just got to be a bit careful about how you navigate the space and what you take in, to be honest.
Yeah, 100%. I'd say the easiest way, granted, you can't really do it on the social media front and like with all these influencers and whatever else, but the easiest way to catch somebody out is to see if they know what they're talking about. If somebody presents you with something simple, just ask why. And if someone's response to you is bare umming and ahhing and stuttering and it kind of sort of, listen, just tell them to walk away.
Yeah.
If they cannot give you a crystal
usually
clear explanation without all this scientific jargon and things that you don't understand, if they can't break it down to you in a simple and concise manner, don't even listen to it. Just walk away.
Yeah. They've just been influenced to think that, and then they think it's the truth. Boom.
But what do we know? We're just PTs.
That's true. What do we know?
What do we know?
We're just making a living from this thing we call PTing. But I'm not sure. We'll let you make the decision.